Well, speaking of politics, forget million-dollar ad buys or billion-dollar political action committees. My next guest says Google is going to be the most influential player in deciding the next election. Robert Epstein is with me now. He's the senior research psychologist at the American Institute for Behavioral Research and Technology. Robert, basically, you know why we make the decisions we do, so, we should buy you drinks sometime in person. Decode all of us, but why is Google going to get it right and not all the polling and other data that's out there?
Hi, Deirdre. Well, they have some power that most people aren't aware that they have. In a big study that I just published with Ronald Robertson in a very prestigious scientific journal, we showed that Google's search rankings easily push the voting preferences of undecided voters. I mean, they can easily shift more than 20% of undecided voters any way they want, up to 80% in some groups. And guess what the most vulnerable group is? It's moderate Republicans.
So hold on, Robert. I hate to interrupt you, but you're saying essentially that Google can push undecided candidates, sway their votes, but how?
The higher a candidate is listed in rankings, the more people trust that candidate, like that candidate.
Everybody likes a winner is the idea.
That's right. And we have come to trust those search rankings because they're so good. In other words, Google does a great job. That has led us to trust those search rankings. And it turns out all they have to do is list a candidate higher, make him or her look more favorable, and that shifts votes. In fact, in a country this big, Google has the power to shift millions of votes, millions, toward any candidate they choose. And guess what? No one knows that this is happening while it's happening. Our research also shows that. This is an invisible form of influence.
It certainly is, because honestly, I never heard of that. And before we chatted with you, I never even thought that was a possibility. So let's say that Google is strictly going by the numbers. And so therefore, when a candidate list is put out, it is because on that day, within that 24-hour period, that is truly who's in the lead. So you're not accusing Google of manipulation. You're just saying it's possible.
Well, there are three scenarios. One is, of course, a Google executive, decides to shift things around. Another would be a rogue employee decides to shift things around. That's pretty scary. But the fact is, even their algorithm all by itself, it is already determining the outcomes of close elections around the world, all by itself, just by looking at links and search activity and boosting a candidate. That drives votes towards that candidate in very large numbers.
All right, Robert, come back. This is fascinating. Senior research psychologist at the American Institute for Behavioral Research and Technology.